Barry Gibb's voice became the soundtrack to countless memories. His songs celebrated love, comforted broken hearts, and filled dance floors across generations. Millions of people know him through timeless hits that continue to play on radios, in movies, and at family gatherings. But behind every unforgettable melody, a man who has spent a lifetime carrying both incredible success and unimaginable loss. Today, Barry is the last surviving member of the famous Gibb brothers. The voices that once surrounded him have slowly fallen silent, leaving him as the only one still here to remember every private moment that existed long before the world knew their names. Fame allowed millions to hear their music, but it could never protect the family who created it. In recent years, false rumors about Barry's health have spread across the internet more than once, causing concern among fans who have followed him for decades. While those stories proved to be untrue, they reminded many people how deeply connected they feel to the man whose music has stayed with them for so many years. Every rumor seemed to ask the same question: what happens when the final Gibb brother is no longer here? Fortunately, Barry has continued living quietly, surrounded by his family, while honoring the legacy he built alongside his brothers, long before sold-out concerts and worldwide fame. Barry's life almost ended before it had truly begun. As a very young child, he suffered a terrible accident inside the family home when hot tea spilled across his body. What should have been an ordinary day suddenly became a terrifying race against time for his parents. They could do little except hope and pray that their son would survive. Years later, Barry would learn just how serious the situation had been. Doctors reportedly believed his chances were very slim. His parents weren't thinking about music or success. They only wanted their little boy to live. The Gibb family never enjoyed an easy life. Money was often tight, and every dollar mattered. Barry's father worked hard as a musician whenever he could, while his mother devoted herself to keeping the family together through difficult times. Even during those early years, music naturally became part of everyday life. Records filled the house, and the children quickly began copying the songs they loved. Barry and his younger brothers, Robin and Maurice, spent countless hours singing together simply because they enjoyed it. They didn't realize those playful moments were quietly building something extraordinary. Their voices blended together in a way that felt effortless, creating harmonies that seemed almost impossible for children their age. Before anyone else recognized it, the brothers had already discovered the gift that would change their lives forever. One unforgettable childhood moment showed just how determined they already were. During an early performance, the record they planned to mime along with suddenly broke before they reached the stage. Panic filled the room. There wasn't another record available, and the audience was already waiting. Instead of running away, the brothers made a brave decision. They walked onto the stage and performed live. Without realizing it, that unexpected accident became one of the first moments that revealed their true talent. Their confidence grew because they learned they didn't need a recording behind them. They only needed each other. Not long afterward, the family made an enormous decision that changed everything. They left behind the familiar streets of Britain and traveled across the world to Australia, hoping for a better future. It was a long journey filled with uncertainty. The children watched endless oceans stretch in every direction while wondering what kind of life waited on the other side. Even during that voyage, the brothers couldn't stop singing. Fellow passengers often paused to listen as the young boys entertained people aboard the ship. Music became something that traveled with them no matter where they went. New countries, new schools, and new neighborhoods could change their surroundings, but the sound they created together always remained the same. Life in Australia wasn't glamorous. The family still struggled financially, and opportunities were difficult to find. Barry, Robin, and Maurice performed anywhere they were given a chance. Sometimes they sang before crowds that barely paid attention. Other times they competed against the roar of racing cars at local speedways, trying to make their voices heard between races. It wasn't the kind of stage most future superstars imagined, but they accepted every opportunity because each performance helped support their family. Those early years taught Barry lessons that fame could never replace. Success wasn't guaranteed. Talent alone wasn't enough. Every audience had to be earned, every performance mattered, and every disappointment became another reason to work even harder. Long before the world knew the name Bee Gees, three determined brothers were simply trying to build a better future one song at a time. Here's part 2. Fully rewritten in an original style while preserving the story and emotional pacing from the source, Australia slowly became the place where the Gibb brothers transformed from talented children into serious musicians. They performed at local events, small clubs, community gatherings, and anywhere someone was willing to let them sing. The crowds were unpredictable. Some people applauded warmly, while others barely noticed they were there. Barry quickly realized that every performance was another chance to improve, whether the audience was large or small. Their father refused to give up on their dream. Night after night, he drove the boys from one venue to another, believing that one good opportunity could change everything. Their mother worked just as hard behind the scenes, keeping the household together while encouraging her sons to stay focused. The family sacrificed comfort for possibility, trusting that persistence would eventually open doors that talent alone could not. The brothers also spent countless hours inside modest recording studios where they listened carefully to every mistake. They weren't surrounded by expensive equipment or famous producers. Instead, they relied on patience, repetition, and honest criticism. Barry constantly rewrote lyrics, adjusted melodies, and searched for better ways to express emotion. Robin's unmistakable voice added vulnerability, while Maurice quietly strengthened every arrangement with remarkable musical instincts. Together, they became far stronger than any one of them could have been alone. Eventually, their hard work began attracting attention. A successful Australian single proved they had genuine potential, but another major decision soon arrived. The family believed their future still waited back in England. It was another enormous gamble. They were leaving behind growing success in Australia with nothing guaranteed on the other side. Yet they trusted that taking the risk offered the best chance of achieving something far greater. Returning to England marked the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Music manager Robert Stigwood quickly recognized something special in the three brothers. He saw more than talented singers. He saw gifted songwriters whose harmonies felt unlike anyone else in popular music. With the right support, their careers suddenly accelerated faster than anyone in the family could have imagined. Hit songs followed one after another. Their music crossed borders, reached new audiences, and climbed charts around the world. Barry developed into one of the most respected songwriters of his generation. Robin's emotional delivery gave many of their songs unforgettable power, while Maurice continued serving as the musical glue that held everything together. Their success belonged to all three brothers because each contributed something unique that couldn't easily be replaced. But enormous success also brought enormous pressure. The public loved comparing the brothers, searching for differences instead of celebrating what made them a family. Newspapers often exaggerated disagreements, turning private conversations into public headlines. Living and working together every day wasn't always easy. Like any siblings, they argued, disagreed, and occasionally needed space from one another. Yet despite those conflicts, music always had a remarkable way of bringing them back together. During the early 1970s, their popularity began slowing down. Radio stations started playing newer artists, record sales weren't as strong, and the excitement surrounding the group gradually faded. For musicians who had spent years at the top, the sudden decline was difficult to accept. They knew they still had something meaningful to offer, but finding a fresh direction wasn't simple. Everything changed after moving their recording sessions to Miami. While experimenting with new sounds, Barry accidentally discovered a vocal style that would soon become one of the most recognizable voices in music history. His soaring falsetto was carefully planned from the beginning. It emerged naturally during studio sessions while searching for a different way to express a song. The moment everyone heard it, they realized something extraordinary had happened. That discovery helped launch one of the greatest comebacks popular music had ever seen. Songs like Jive Talking, Night Fever, Stayin Alive, and How Deep Is Your Love became worldwide sensations. The Bee Gees suddenly found themselves at the center of the disco movement. selling millions of records and performing before enormous crowds across the globe. For a while, it seemed impossible for anything to stop them. Their music dominated radio stations, movies, television, and dance floors. Barry's falsetto became instantly recognizable, and the Bee Gees were among the biggest names in entertainment. The years that followed tested Barry in ways no amount of fame could prepare him for. He said goodbye to his younger brother Andy while he was still only beginning his life. Later, he lost his father, the man who had believed in three young boys when almost no one else did. Then came the heartbreaking loss of Maurice, whose quiet talent had held the Bee Gees together through decades of success. Finally, Robin was gone as well, leaving Barry as the only brother still alive. Each loss changed him forever. The applause from sold-out arenas could never replace the conversations they once shared behind closed doors. Every familiar song carried memories that only Barry could fully understand. Fans still heard beautiful harmonies, but Barry remembered the laughter between recording sessions, the disagreements that ended with forgiveness, and the dreams they built together long before anyone knew their names. Through every tragedy, one person remained by his side, his wife, Linda. She helped create a stable home, while the music world constantly changed around them. Together they raised their children, welcomed grandchildren into the family, and built a life that existed beyond fame. When grief nearly convinced Barry to walk away from music forever, Linda encouraged him to keep moving forward, reminding him that his gift still had meaning for millions of people. Age also brought new physical challenges. Arthritis made performing painful, and years of touring took a toll on his body. Instead of pretending nothing had changed, Barry learned to adapt. He performed fewer shows, took better care of his health, and accepted that growing older required a different kind of strength. His determination was no longer about proving himself to the world. It was about continuing to do what he loved for as long as he could. In recent years, false stories claiming Barry had died spread rapidly across social media, causing unnecessary worrying among fans around the world. Thankfully, those reports were completely untrue. Barry continued enjoying time with his family while protecting the extraordinary musical legacy that he and his brothers created together over a lifetime. Today, Barry Gibb stands as the final living Gibb brother. His voice still reminds millions of people of moments they can never forget. Every time a Bee Gees song begins, listeners are transported back to weddings, family gatherings, long drives, celebrations, and memories shared with loved ones. For the audience, the music never grows old. For Barry, every note also brings back the faces of the brothers who once stood beside him. Perhaps that is the greatest legacy of all. Success fades, records are broken, and generations move on. But genuine music continues, connecting people long after the artists themselves leave the stage. Barry has spent nearly 8 decades giving the world songs filled with hope, love, heartbreak, and resilience. Although he now carries those memories alone, the music ensures that Robin, Maurice, and Andy will never truly be forgotten. As long as people continue singing those timeless songs, the voices of the Gibb brothers will live on. And somewhere inside every harmony, every chorus, and every familiar melody, the remarkable story of one extraordinary family will continue to echo for generations yet to come.